So this is the fifth part of our study on the Bible's case for Christianity. In the third part, we surveyed what the Bible has to say about the reality and significance of miracles in light of God's existence, and we determined that miracles are special acts of God that can be used to confirm a messenger and his message as being from God. And in the last part of our study, we looked at the Bible's case for the historical reliability of the New Testament. Now, in this present part of our study, we are going to see what Jesus, according to our historically reliable New Testament writings, claimed about his own identity, which was a central part of his message. In truth, Jesus highlighted many features of his identity, either directly or indirectly through his teachings and actions. But the centerpiece of it all was his claim to being God. Now, a number of examples could be given of the ways in which Jesus claimed to be God, but we will simply look at a few of the most explicit of these. And one way that Jesus claimed to be God is that he demanded to be given the same honor as is given to God. And he does so most explicitly in John 5, verses 22 to 23. He said to the Jews, "The Father judges no one, but has given all judgment to the Son, that all may honor the Son, just as they honor the Father. Whoever does not honor the Son does not honor the Father who sent him." Now, within a Jewish context, demanding to be given the same honor that is given to God is nothing short of claiming equality with God. And since God has no equal, it is a claim to being God himself. To put it into perspective, consider God's words in Isaiah 42, verse 8. "I am the Lord, that is my name. My glory I give to no other." Yet Jesus demanded that it also be given to him. And again in Isaiah 48, verse 11. For my own sake I do it. My glory I will not give to another." Within this context, it should be clear that when Jesus was demanding to be given the same honor as is given to God, he was claiming to be none other than the God who alone deserves such honor. In addition to demanding the same honor as is given to God, Jesus also accepted worship as God. In other words, when people worshipped him, he did not rebuke them or turn them away as any other Jewish person would have. In fact, his own miracle-working disciples would later find themselves in such a situation where they had to stop people from worshiping them. But unlike his own disciples, Jesus let people worship him, and in some reported cases even blessed those who did so. One example of Jesus accepting worship is found in Matthew 14, verse 33, just after Jesus walks on water and calms the storm. Matthew reports that those in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." From a Jewish perspective, the fact that Matthew reports no rebuke on Jesus' part towards his disciples worshiping him indicates that Jesus accepted this worship. In other words, if Jesus had rejected the worship, then Matthew would certainly have reported this rejection, as Luke does concerning the attempted worship of Paul and Barnabas in Acts 14, verses 8 to 18. And within a Jewish context, that Jesus accepted the worship of his disciples is again a strong claim to being God. A central prohibition that is repeated throughout the Old Testament law code is adamantly against worshiping anyone or anything other than God. As Exodus 34, verse 14 puts it, "For you shall worship no other gods, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God." So for Jesus as a Jew to accept worship from other Jews is a strong claim to being God. Now, in addition to demanding the same honor as God and accepting worship as God, Jesus also claimed to be of the same essence or nature as God. And he did this in a few different ways, but the most explicit instance is found in John 10, verses 30 to 33. Here, Jesus finds himself once again in dialogue with the Jews. And he said to them, "I and the Father are one." And the Jews, obviously understanding the implications of this statement, picked up stones again to stone him. And Jesus answered them, "I have shown you many good works from the Father. For which of them are you going to stone me?" And the Jews answered him, "It is not for a good work that we are going to stone you, but for blasphemy, because you, being a man, make yourself God." The Jews clearly understood what Jesus was claiming. Judaism was a monotheistic belief system, meaning that they only believed in one God. As God spoke in Isaiah 45, verse 5, "I am the Lord, and there is no other. Besides me, there is no God." So when Jesus claimed to be one with God, to share in the divine nature, he was doing nothing short of claiming to be the one God, the Lord. Now, besides demanding to be given the same honor as God, accepting worship as God, and claiming to be of the same nature as God, Jesus also claimed the divine name for himself. And this action is arguably the most explicit of his claims to being God. He makes this claim in John 8, verses 56 to 59, when he is once again, you guessed it, in dialogue with the Jews. After the Jews asked Jesus in verse 53 if he thought himself to be greater than Abraham, and further asked who indeed he thought himself to be, Jesus responded in verses 54 to 55 by saying that the Father glorifies him and that he, unlike his opponents, knows the Father. He then adds in verses 56 to 59, "Your father Abraham rejoiced that he would see my day. He saw it and was glad." So the Jews said to him, "You are not yet 50 years old. And have you seen Abraham?" Abraham lived a couple thousand years before. Jesus said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was, I am." So they, the Jews, picked up stones to throw at him. But Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple. Now when Jesus said, "Before Abraham was, I am," he wasn't making some grammatically incorrect statement here. Or rather, he was claiming to be eternally present, having existed forever, since even before Abraham. And since God is the only one who is eternally present, then Jesus was very clearly claiming to be God. And the Jews certainly understood what Jesus was claiming here, for they then proceeded to try and stone him, which was the penalty for blasphemy under Jewish law, as we've seen. In fact, I am is the divine name by which God revealed himself to Moses in the burning bush. We find the dialogue between God and that great prophet in Exodus 3, verses 13 to 15, where we read the following. "Then Moses said to God, 'If I come to the people of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? What shall I say to them?' God said to Moses, 'I am who I am.' And he said, 'Say this to the people of Israel, I am has sent me to you.'" God also said to Moses, "Say this to the people of Israel: the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and thus I am to be remembered throughout all generations." I am is the name of the Lord forever, eternally. And every Jewish person in Jesus' day remembered and knew this. So when Jesus made the claim before Abraham was, "I am," it was clear that he was doing nothing short of claiming to be the great I am revealed to Moses, to be the God of Abraham who existed long before Abraham. As always, additional points could be made and examples given, but these should suffice to show that Jesus in multiple ways and on numerous occasions claimed to be God. But it's one thing to claim to be God. It's another to prove such claims to be true. So, this raises the question: did Jesus ever prove that his claims to being God were true? And this is where we will begin to see everything we have discussed thus far in this study come together. As previously discussed, God exists, which means miracles are possible and can be used to confirm a messenger and his message as being from God. According to our historically reliable New Testament, Jesus not only claimed to be a messenger from God, but to in fact be God himself. A reality that would give serious weight and a whole new layer of meaning to his message. So the question we will address in the next part of this study on the Bible's case for Christianity is whether or not Jesus, according to our historically reliable New Testament, ever proved his claims to being God through miraculous signs. But until then, may God bless you as you seek to love him with all your mind.